Today we gather to explore new opportunities, deepen our partnerships, and address common challenges.
Partnership for Productive Future, Nigeria, Colombia expand areas of friendship. Hand of the law, never too short. Self-acclaimed IPOB agitator Simon Ekpa convicted in Finland.
We are called African Development Bank. We know how to run a bank, but what we need to do is to do the development part.
Nigeria's additional leaves African Development Bank with ovation at the loudest. Hello there. It's always a pleasure to have you join the network news on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani, and joining me tonight from Lagos, Hingino John Adams, and right here in Abuja, Musa Abubakar with business highlights and Ayodeji Makinde with sports update. Musa?
Equities market begins the week in negative territory as Nigeria-Cape Verde forge AI partnership.
Thank you, Musa. Ayo, what's happening in the world of sports?
Beautiful stories emerging from the National Youth Games where Team Edo dominates the weightlifting category.
All right, Ayo, Edo all the way. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. On YouTube, we are NTA Network. You can follow us across other social media. Our handles are displayed on the screen. Now the news in detail. Nigeria is repositioning itself as a ready alternative market to willing global partners with evolving dynamics in world trade. President Bola Tinubu said this when he assured the visiting Colombian Vice President Francia Marquez of Nigeria's readiness to genuinely partner Colombia. State House correspondent Musbau Lawahab reports.
Colombian Vice President Francia Marquez is the August visitor in town, and after a series of bilateral meetings coordinated by Vice President Kashim Shettima, the second in command brings forth his Colombian counterpart to his principal. The visitor is leading for her country a mission to reunite the black citizens of a South American country with their African origin. But beyond that, the Nigeria-Colombia relation is about to witness a new turn. Years of relations between the two countries have seen export of crude oil, liquefied natural gas, agricultural commodities and solid minerals from Nigeria to Colombia, while it imports coffee, confectionaries, industrial equipment, pharmaceuticals and chemicals in return.
Opportunities for deeper cooperation and key investment and incentives include the aviation and connectivity. Based on request of Her Excellency, the Vice President of Colombia, also irrigation, processing of food towards Your Excellency's ambitions for food sovereignty for Nigeria and export diversification.
Now, Colombia aims to strengthen social and economic ties with a proposal on visa exemption agreement for diplomatic and service passport holders. And with a partial trade agreement signed, both countries are set to grow the trade volume from the current $700 million.
We know that we can work together on issues such as peace, economic and social development, the economic integration of both our regions, social justice, but also closely work on issues such as gender justice, because we know that both our countries are truly interested in making sure that women are more and more involved and active in decision-making spaces.
We have other opportunities in agriculture and good ideas that you might be able to work with a bilateral agreement that you already entered to. We will accelerate it. We will not slow it down. More so, now that the world trade is being battered by various tariff restrictions and alterations. We work on being a very good alternative market and a partner.
The visiting vice president expressed her country's condolences over the passing of immediate past president, late Muhammad Buhari. From the State House, Musbao Wahab, NC News.
And still from the State House, Nigeria is expanding its diplomatic relations with Colombia in the areas of governance, trade, agriculture, energy, education, creative arts industry, and security. This is as the vice presidents of the two nations chair the Nigeria-Colombia Business Forum at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Vice presidents of the two nations opening doors for more investment opportunities in governance, trade, agriculture, solid minerals, energy, education, creative arts, and security.
A historic step towards strengthening cooperation and unlocking new possibilities.
An MOU signed with the two leaders, giving assurance of a fruitful outcome within a short term.
Today we gather to explore new opportunities, deepen our partnerships, and address common challenges. There is no doubt that we are coming together at a time when the uncertainties of the global economy and the politics that undercut it are reshaping trade patterns. The tariffs that confront our exports in other parts of the world are a reminder of the danger of dependence on a narrow base. For Nigeria, this is a call to diversify our exports beyond crude oil, expanding into agriculture, minerals, and manufactured products.
Quiero empezar expresando el agradecimiento.
We would like to open new paths for cooperation in strategic fields such as renewables, a field in which Colombia is making progress towards fair environmental transition. We believe that both countries share experiences in cultural industries that are buoyant and which will allow us to advance our cultural exchange, whereby the talent of our population will be fundamental to generate opportunities.
The two nations have also agreed to improve on trade relations as well as diplomatic ties.
Strengthen person-to-person, people-to-people relations between the two countries and what we're doing on the global stage.
We have to show the people that integration is not only about speeches, is not only about words, but we must have some concrete, tangible results. That's why we are here. We are proposing to the Nigeria's government.
In this room, we have key leading Nigerian businesses that have connectivity in all the sectors that you have indicated interest.
The unique values and potential that Nigeria and Colombia share, if fully harnessed, can positively impact key sectors of the two economies. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
A Finnish court has sentenced Simon Ekpa to 6 years in prison for terrorism-related offences. The court found that Ekpa, between 2021 and 2024, was involved in activities aimed at advancing the independence of Nigeria's Biafra region by unlawful means, including providing armed groups with weapons, explosives and ammunition through his network. The court ruled that his actions constitute participation in a terrorist group and public incitement to commit crimes with terrorism intent. Ekpa was also convicted of aggravated tax fraud and breaches of the Attorneys Act. Prosecutors presented evidence showing that Ekpa used social media and online platforms to communicate and incite violence in Nigeria's southeast, directly connecting his actions to the promotion of violence in the region. The 6-year prison term reflects the weight of the evidence and the severity of the offences committed. Meanwhile, the federal government welcomes the landmark judgment of the Päijät-Häme District Court in Finland, which sentenced Simon Ekpa, a self-styled pro-Biafra agitator, to 6 years imprisonment for terrorism offences. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in a statement describes the ruling as a watershed moment, not only for the countless Nigerians whose lives and livelihoods have been brutally disrupted by the reign of terror perpetrated by Ekpa and his collaborators, but also for the strengthening of bilateral relations between Nigeria and Finland. The federal government in the statement also extends its profound gratitude to the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Nigerian Armed Forces, security and intelligence agencies, and the Federal Ministry of Justice, as well as the Nigeria Police Force, whose sacrifice, courage, and commitment continue to secure the country in the face of daunting challenges. And joining me live for more on this is legal practitioner Dr. Kayode Shijuade, MNI, to discuss the conviction. Thank you for joining the Network News on NTA.
Thank you for having me.
Let's begin with what the implications of the conviction and sentencing of Simon Ekpa for terrorism-related offences by a Finnish court mean, especially as he has been, in the words of the court, he participated in a terrorist group from his actions.
Thank you very much. The initial implications of this judgment are about 4. First of all, he is a convicted terrorist. Secondly, there will be implications with regards to his continual residency in Finland and elsewhere. Thirdly, he may face more consequences in Nigeria with respect to prosecution. The fact that he's been convicted could also be used as an evidence of previous conviction in his prosecution in Nigeria. Terrorism, treason, these are very serious crimes in Nigeria, which carry weighty punishments, life imprisonment, up to death penalty. So he may have to face these consequences with time. So, of course, the Finnish District Court is the first court of instance, so he will have the right to appeal this judgment if he wishes to do so, but there are a lot of consequences awaiting him, and these are the initial implications. Thank you.
And what's your take on the his conviction, another count rather, which has to do with supply of arms and explosives to the proscribed group?
Well, it is it's obvious and it's clear that he had in the past raised funds to support these separatist groups, and these funds are also channeled in the purchase of arms and explosives, which are being used against the Nigerian military and the general public. So these are in the public domain, and these are the evidences put forward by the Finnish court to secure his conviction.
The court equally convicted him of aggravated tax fraud. What should the Nigerian judiciary learn from this?
Well, you see, in terrorism financing, there will always be the issue of tax fraud because these are illicit finance. These are illicit flow of funds. They are not declared to the public. So there is always element of tax fraud involved. Now, with regards to a learning curve for our judicial system, in this case, justice was served and dispatched swiftly. We can learn 1 or 2 things from this. It is not the courts that I blame mostly. I blame the legal practitioners. With legal practitioners that go to court, deploying different gimmicks, shenanigans to waste the time of the court and prolong cases. Cases of terrorism are serious matters, criminal matters that should receive accelerated hearing by the courts. But the lawyers deploy all means to prolong and protract these cases. But I'm happy that in the case, just last month, in the case of Beddings, Holdings, and Carew, the Court of Appeal stamped its foot on the ground and punished a lawyer or referred the lawyer to be punished by the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee for wasting the time of the court for 9 years. This is the way to go. the court should also go further to inflict or impose heavy sanctions on legal practitioners who indulge in this kind of activities. Thank you very much.
Justice was served swiftly in the case of Simon Ekpa on terrorism-related offences, in the words of Dr. Kayode Shijuade, MNI policy expert and legal practitioner. Thank you very much for giving us insight into this matter.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Nigeria Police Force has made a significant breakthrough in combating illegal arms trafficking. A patrol team in Katsina State intercepted 2 gun runners, one Abdusalam Muhammad and Aminu Mamman, along the Ngawa Karkaru village road. The police recovered a general-purpose machine gun, 1,063 rounds of AK-47 ammunition and 232 rounds of PKT ammunition from the suspect's vehicle. Preliminary investigations suggest the arms were being transported from Jigawa State to Katsina for distribution to criminal elements. The suspects are in custody and an in-depth investigation is ongoing to uncover the source and network behind the recovered arms. The Inspector General of Police commends the gallantry of the operatives and encourages them to sustain their efforts in dismantling organized criminal networks. This is the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more reports in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned. September is considered special by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, being her birth month. On this occasion, when she turns 65 in a few days, she has decided to make the celebration a solemn one, devoid of fanfare. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports that another visit to her garden in the villa sets the tone for the special month.
They are tender if you love on them.
You fall in love once, and if you are lucky, it lasts you for a lifetime, is a quote she once used to describe her newfound love for home gardening. From tilling the brown earth in the cool of the day to tending the now lush green garden, the First Lady matches words with action and has convinced herself and the rest of the country that home gardening is indeed rewarding.
And this is St. Leaves.
Like on other occasions, her love is again being rewarded with bountiful harvest that will shape the menu of the first family.
Look at the quality of okra. So tonight I'm going to have St. Leaves and some sweet potatoes. And the St. Leaves will be made with ugu. I want to try that one. But the spinach I have, you can see, they are like spinach that you get abroad. So I'm going to do some spinach salad later.
As someone who has watched her nurture the garden, I ventured to find out why she picked the first day of her birth month for another visit.
Yes, because it's on the first day of the week, first of the month, and what a time to have a good harvest. So today, I came to get vegetables for just me and Mr. President.
Much more than what she said, the answer is in her pride as one who runs a home garden and a firm believer in the practice as a pathway to food security in the country. In the State House, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Thank you, Adeni, for that heartwarming report. We wish Her Excellency evergreen harvest as she marks 65 years in a few days. Now, the first in a series of solar hybrid projects has been inaugurated by the Jigawa State Governor, Umar Namadi, emphasizing that the Kafin Hausa mini-grid power project is expected to tackle the challenges of power outages and accelerate renewable energy development across the state. Muhammad Musa Askira reports that the 10-megawatt power project built at 1.2 billion naira will light more than half of Kafin Hausa residents in the state.
The 500 kilowatts peak solar hybrid plant comes with 3.3 kilometers distribution line, step-up and step-down transformers, and other essential infrastructure. The governor explained that the project is part of KEDCO's obligations under a memorandum of understanding signed with the Jigawa state government, which now holds a 10% equity stake in the electricity distribution company. He said the initiative aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda that devolves power generation to the states and encourages public-private partnership in off-grid and renewable energy solutions. Already, more mini-grids are scheduled for Dutse, Hadeja, Kazaure, Ringim, and Gumel, while 21 additional mini-grid projects anchored by the Rural Electrification Agency are underway in hard-to-reach communities across the state. The governor highlighted Jigawa's pioneering role in the power sector, being the first in the Northwest to establish a Ministry of Power and Energy and the first among 19 northern states to sign into law its own state electricity law following the Electricity Act of 2023.
Several aspects of our 12-point agenda have equally recognized sustained investment in renewable energy, connecting rural communities and public institutions to upgrade electricity, and expanding the role of the private sector in transforming Jigawa state economy as a key priorities in our agenda.
The 500 kilowatts power station, which we see here, as well as a 350 kV emergency backup generator in case the grid cannot provide reference voltage.
The state Jigawa continues to position itself as a front runner in renewable energy reforms, setting the pace for other states in Nigeria's quest for sustainable electricity solutions. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Prevention is the way to go if malnutrition is to be defeated in developing societies, say experts. But what are the statistics in Gombe State? Emmanuel Akila brings us up to speed on new measures to control its impact on the most vulnerable.
Malnutrition is common among the poor people in the society, though it could happen as a result of improper dietary.
If you are eating in excess, you will become overnutrition, obese, which is malnutrition. But for those that you are saying poorer, because they lack essential nutrients that they will support or promote their growth and development.
This health challenge is finding a foothold in the healthcare records of developing nations. In Gombe State, the statistics were worrisome until the right healthcare policy got the right political will.
In 2018, the stunting is called chronic malnutrition, something that is irreversible. We have 15.1%.
To effectively curb the menace of malnutrition in Gombe State, there is a public-private partnership in the production of specialized food that will help the entire communities around the state in ensuring that the battle against malnutrition is fought and won.
Government make emphasis on capacity building on complementary foods for the issue of nutrition or malnutrition in Gombe State.
We have a high rate of stunting, and ARIN is for prevention measures. You better prevent than to leave a problem to become treatment.
With increased awareness on formulation of the right food combination, healthcare experts believe communities would use what they have to prevent malnutrition. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Still on health, Nigeria must rely less on foreign aid and invest more of its own money to strengthen the health system. The suggestion of doctors, policymakers and other stakeholders at a 4-day National Health Financing Dialogue in Abuja. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the meeting is focused on finding smarter, fairer and more lasting ways of funding healthcare in the country.
Experts from across the value chain, policymakers, civil society groups and the media have all come together to brainstorm on the future of Nigeria's health system. In Nigeria, where no one has to choose between paying hospital bills and putting food on the table, that's the dream driving this meeting. Nigeria currently spends less than 15% benchmark set by the Abuja Declaration, leaving many Nigerians to pay out of pocket and too often sliding into poverty.
We know what we deal with: limited financial protection
And we have a decentralized system, which means we need to coordinate better and mobilize resources.
So the challenge is, with what we have at this point, how do we make use of it? How do we make it efficiently deployed? How do you mobilize efficiently? How do we purchase efficiently? How do we stretch the few dollars that we have at this moment to get the most health for our population?
The hope is that these conversations will open new doors for sustainable health financing and build a healthier future for Nigerians. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, has expressed federal government's commitment to integrating traditional medicine into healthcare delivery in Nigeria, provided it meets scientific standards of safety and efficacy. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports that in commemoration of the African Traditional Medicine Day, a strategic policy plan for its implementation, Policy in Nigeria 2025 to 2029 has been inaugurated.
From time immemorial, man have always relied on herbs and roots for medicine, just as the World Health Organization says 80% of Nigerians use traditional medicine.
And it exists from nature, and human being actually exists from nature. We should be able to come together so that we can be able to develop the natural gift we have from God.
Kenneth is among those who trust and rely on traditional medicine, even in the midst of growing concerns about its combination and dosage.
I have a conviction in traditional medicine that it works, but it depends on the usage, because a lot of people don't know how to use these things. They just use it arbitrarily.
Despite that, traditional, complementary and alternative medicines, TCAM, have become, with the federal government taking a holistic approach in ensuring standards among the activities of TCAM practice in the country.
Let us work together to build a strong evidence base that inspires confidence, that informs policies and improves lives. Nigeria, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is ready and committed to leading the way in making traditional medicine a reliable and respected part of our national healthcare architecture.
And to further strengthen evidence-based traditional medicine, the government also published a code of ethics and practice for traditional medicine practitioners in Nigeria. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
We're leaving Abuja now to join Hingino in Lagos. I'm very excited to hand over to Hingino. Over to you.
Naja, and welcome to Lagos. The nation's educational system has received commendation following the exceptional performance by students at a globally competitive examination. Amaka O reports that the students were honored by the British Council in Lagos.
Nigeria's top-performing students in the Cambridge exams have been recognized among the best in the world at the British Council Recognition and Outstanding Cambridge Learner Awards, hosted by the International Education Group at Cambridge University Press and Assessment in partnership with the British Council.
We are committed to building learning environments that are safe, inspiring, and truly inclusive, where every learner can thrive.
And in order to become an explorer, there's something really important that you need to do. You need to put away those ruthless little dictators that rule your lives, called mobile phones.
Students, parents, and educators gathered to celebrate excellence in the June and November 2024 Cambridge International Education Exam Series.
I think it shows that, one, there is quality education in Nigeria, and two, that because they're competing with other learners from all across the world, it shows that Nigerians can compete globally.
Education very much is a powerful tool. I think lots of human development has only been possible because of education. And ultimately, education has so many benefits from wider economic development, and ultimately it is the answer to lots of the world's problems like climate change. And so it is core to development.
This year, 99 learners received Outstanding Cambridge Learner Awards. Among them were 16 students and 10 schools who achieved Top in the World awards granted to learners who obtained the highest marks globally. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
A new dawn is unfolding in the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, as it continues in its upward trajectory in the 100 days with renewed commitment to facility upgrade and development of an enriched training model that aligns with current realities. Joel Popola reports that the new Director General of ASCON, Funke Adepoju, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the universities and learning institutes to reposition the college for more efficiency.
The NCDC has expanded diagnostic access with new Mpox and Lassa fever labs, optimized existing laboratories in 13 states, all while reducing the turnaround time for outbreak confirmation.
Talking politics, and the newly elected local government chairman in River State have been sworn in with a charge to embrace a new era of accountable and reform-driven leadership. River State's sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibaz, performed the swearing-in ceremony at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Osinachi Samuel reports that the administrator reminds the new council bosses that public office is a sacred trust, not an avenue for personal gain, and charges them to acquaint themselves with the Nigerian Constitution. Before the swearing-in, the chairman and councillors were presented with certificates of return by the chairman, River State Independent Electoral Commission, Michael Ode. When Akinwumi Adesina took office as the 8th president of the African Development Bank in 2015, the challenge was clear: to turn Africa's potential into progress. 10 years on, with billions invested and lives transformed, his legacy stands as a milestone in Africa's development journey. Musa Abubakar takes a look at 10 years of impact under Akinwumi Adesina.
10 years ago, a seed of vision was planted, and Africa's future began to bloom. When Dr. Akinwumi Adesina became president of the African Development Bank, he carried with him a bold dream to transform Africa, not with aid, but with power, food, jobs, and hope. He called it the high fives: light up Africa, feed Africa, industrialize Africa, integrate Africa, and improve the quality of life for millions. By 2025, over 565 million lives had been touched, from electricity for 28 million people to food security for more than 100 million, from healthcare to clean water. A brighter tomorrow became reality. He unlocked billions for women-owned businesses, empowered youth with digital skills for a digital age, and turned challenges into opportunities for a rising generation. In the fight against climate change, Adesina made Africa a global leader in adaptation, ensuring resilience for the continent and its people.
And I came in and I said, we are called African Development Bank. We know how to run a bank, but what we need to do is to do the development part. And so we have to be accountable for accelerating Africa's development.
10 years, billions invested, millions transformed. Akinwumi Adesina leaves the African Development Bank with a legacy written not in numbers, but in lives forever changed. Sidi Altar, a Mauritanian economist, has been sworn in as the next president of African Development Bank.
There I say, Roo, oh, Papa, me.
Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Billions invested, millions transformed. And here's Musa Abubakar with more business highlights. Musa?
Thank you, Naja. Nigeria is strengthening its position as a leader in Africa's digital future with a new partnership forged with Cape Verde on artificial intelligence and innovation. Cape Verde Secretary of State for Digital Economy, Pedro Lopez, visited Abuja to explore collaboration with Nigeria on AI and digital transformation. The visit coincided with the first ever Digital Africa Dialogue hosted in Nigeria. At the dialogue, both nations endorsed the She Code AI initiative, a program aimed at training and empowering 500 young girls in its initial phase with digital and AI skills.
Then crying later. And it's a responsibility of this generation to provide the bridge for the next generation.
This program will empower over 500 secondary school girls across 3 islands in Cape Verde with skills in AI, coding, and digital creativity. It would build teacher capacity, deliver localized Portuguese STEM toolkits, and accumulate in a national showcase at the Cape Verde Tech Park.
And the capital market, the bears had the upper hand at the Nigerian exchange today, dragging the market into negative territory. The all-share index slipped to 139,722.19 points as investors booked profits in heavyweight stocks, reversing the upbeat mood seen earlier in the week. Trading activity, however, remained vibrant. Over 407.9 million shares exchanged hands in 33,859 deals, with a market turnover of 14.77 billion naira. Despite the buzz, market capitalization closed at 88.41 trillion naira, reflecting the day's bearish close. Sovereign Trust Insurance led to the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 2 naira 86 kobo per share, followed by Scout Nigeria, Cornerstone Insurance Company, and Guinea Insurance. On the losing side, Ella Lakes came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 34 naira 20 kobo per share, followed by Eterna, Veristas Capital Assurance, and Champs. Analysts note that the mood in the market is tilting towards caution, with investors closely watching economic signals and corporate earnings before making their next big moves. That concludes business news. Naja is back to you.
Thank you, Musa. You caught me there calculating all that you talked about. We'll take a break. More news in a moment.
Yes, let's have some stories in the world of sports. And we'll go all over to Asaba in Delta State, where Team Edo are champions in the weightlifting category of the National Youth Games with 9 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. Their supremacy was most evident in the women's events, where they swept all 9 gold medals, thanks to outstanding performances from Favor Cornelius, Esther Amarachi Chijioke, and Beauty Akpore. Akwa Ibom secured 2nd place with 5 gold medals in the men's category. Abia State claimed 3rd position through Vitalis Naji, and also Niger State finished 4th with a single gold medal. Now, as the 2025 summer transfer window shuts down in England in the next few minutes or thereabout, yes, Wolverhampton Wanderers have secured the services of Nigerian forward Tolu Arokodare from Belgian side Genk. The 6'6" forward has penned a 4-year deal at the Molineux, arriving to bolster Wolverhampton Wanderers' attack. The Premier League side currently sits bottom of the table after 3 straight defeats. Arokodare won the Belgian Golden Boot with 21 goals last season. And let's quickly go to the world of tennis, where Novak Djokovic is through to the quarterfinal of the US Open at the Flushing Meadows after he defeated qualifier Jan-Lennard Struff to reach the last 8 in straight sets 6-3, 6-3, 6-2. Just as 2-time champion in the women's category Naomi Osaka has knocked out American third seed Coco Gauff to reach the quarterfinals in New York. And that's your sports. It's back to Naja.
Thank you, Ayo. I have to let you know that sympathizers have continued to visit the residence of late FCT Head of Service Grace Adailo, and Hawagimba has the details.
Here at the heart of the Federal Capital Territory, the atmosphere is heavy with grief as family members, colleagues and sympathizers gathered to pay tribute to a woman many describe as a mantra of civil service transformation.
Mother Africa, Mrs. Grace Adailo. I'm even short of words to describe who the person she was. She's a humble woman. She loves everybody with respect.
Because even words cannot describe what I feel this morning.
In what will be a final message to a church congregation, Mama Africa emphasized that God is in control, delivering a heartfelt sermon focused on the importance of time, purpose, and divine alignment.
I say your future is intact. Nobody will abort it. Nobody will take it away from you. No power will block you from his hand.
Across our community and among the indigenous people of the FCT, Grace Adailo was hailed as a pillar of strength, a leader who championed inclusivity and unity in her efforts in advancing the welfare of workers and pushing for lasting civil service reforms have left an indelible mark. Mama Africa is survived by her aged mother and 4 children. Hawagimba, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu commiserates with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, on the passing of Grace Adailo, the pioneer head of service of the Federal Capital Administration. The President also extends his sympathies to the children, family and loved ones of the late Adailo and the FCTA management and staff. On that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani.